Satan is a liar, and I am saying may he be ashamed of himself and all the dark angel that work for him, that devalue men, that ridicule men. May they be ashamed. May the thief of eternity, the ancient spirit that devalue, may he be ashamed. And let me reveal to you his secrets. He tampers with the power God gave men. He just tampers and then leave men miserable. Make man that was made in the image and likeness of God to accept the negative as his future. Suddenly, man lose idea of who he is. Suddenly, man is saying that he's incapacitated. Suddenly, man multiply ideas. The Bible says in Psalm chapter 8 from 3, he said, why do you regard man? Can you look at that? He said, why do you regard man? That means that God regard man. He said, verse number 3. He said, when I consider the heavens and the work of thy finger, the moon and the star, which thou have ordained. And then the 4, he said, and what is the man that you do what? Mindful. And the son of man that thou. The writer was saying, why are you regarding man? Why are you regarding man? God is regarding man, because what he ordained in 3 cannot work without man, because what is in verse 3 is under man. So he had to regard man. Both in heaven and on earth, man is regarded by God, because God is only a spirit. Pay attention. Even, do you know that Jesus is the one that is worshipped in heaven? Not even Christ. If you go to heaven now, you will worship a man this afternoon. Do you know that? Do you know that there is no God in heaven? That the heaven we want to go is a man's heaven? Do you know there is no Christ in heaven? If you go to heaven now, you will meet that man of Galilee. That leg he used in walking around Galilee is what he's having in heaven. The mouth he used in eating fish and bread is what is in heaven. And we will worship him like that. That is why God is mindful of that man. And the last heaven, which is the millennial kingdom, the kingdom in the midst of the sea, is not still God's kingdom. It's still man's kingdom. So why wouldn't God be mindful of man? Listen, let me give you a gift. The beginning of miracle in your life is to put honor on men who deserve honor. You might not understand completely, but I would like you to know it, just hear it. The day you know that men should be honored properly, you will now know. That is the day your life will change. The day you begin to see that some things cannot happen until certain men are born. Don't forget that there's a difference between hearing something and doing something. You see, because some of us, that mentality is what is even delaying you. Because that is giving a man respect he needs to touch his heart, to give you something that you need, is more important than asking him that thing. Let me say it again. I said giving a man respect he needs to touch his heart, to give you something that you need, is far more important than asking him. Because a man's heart needs to be touched to give you something God gave him to give you. Remember that if God must use him to give it to you, it is his own now. So not even God will force him. So it is not God that determines those who enter into heaven. It's not God. Because heaven is a man's kingdom. So if it is a man's kingdom, your holiness will not qualify you. The man's choice will qualify you. I mean the man's discretion. Oh, I don't know what I'm saying anything to this. And then the Bible says, please, do you know how powerful man is? As big as Jesus is, when he came down from the grave and saw that Peter them had backslidden and went to fish, why didn't he say idiot and went to heaven? He went to look for backsliders because he knows his time on earth is over. He didn't tell them, he didn't call them backsliders. He said children. That is a way to insult an adult. He called them children because their life is tied to only what they will eat. He said, children, all of you who forgot everything I told you, and now you're fishing back, children. And then he treated them as children. He said, children. Oh, what Peter is an old man, James. He said, come and eat because that's your interest. When an adult behaves like children, you should be called a child. He said, children, have you caught anything? Because it is always something that we catch. Ordinary people. Church, that's a great service. Huh? But yet, he went to them and said, Peter, keep this sheep. Because time was against him. He can no longer preach. And he needed those who are on earth to preach. So he started looking for them. That is how important man is. And that is why God cares about man. Because man is the only gate God has to the earth. Now, but God measures. That is the power God gave to man. I said, that is the what? That is the what? That is the power God gave to man. God have subjected the earth and the heavens to man. Not only the earth. The palpable heaven is a man's heaven. Can I go away for 1 minute to tell you this? While you are on earth and you have life, be very careful about what you are doing with that life you have. Because what you are doing with that life is your value. It's your value. And when God wants to reward, he will reward that value. One of the ways to know the value of life is what the life is invested on. Great. Please, it is possible. Can I tell you something? It is possible for you to invest your life on something that will pay too much, but you're still suffering at a particular level. I said, you're still suffering. You see, because something is taking your life, but it's not giving you money yet. But you're busy. Very busy with it. You're suffering. Everybody knows you're busy. But nothing is showing. That doesn't mean that God forgot. It is because he wants to give you something very big. So he's taking time to prepare you. Jesus exercised the dominion of Christ. That's the heading. Nothing is called general dominion for every man. You are born to exercise a definite dominion. Dominion of the Spirit, you know. I said nothing is called what? Nothing is called general dominion. When Jesus was born as a man, he knew he will exercise the dominion of Christ. He got ready for that dominion. The first readiness was to go through the conversion of Christ. I said, what was the first? Go through the... Now, I've said it in one or two of my books, that the messianism that Jesus accomplished was the messianism of Christ. So, he spent time to look like Christ. Nothing makes a man happy like getting somebody that look like you. Getting somebody who think like you. You're a woman and you have a daughter that think like you. Beautiful. You want to give her everything. He knows what you want. That is the reason Jesus called Peter and said, feed my lamb, because Peter, to an extent, knows what Jesus wants. And then you have to know the mind of a spirit before you can do ambassadorial representation, which include dominion for the particular spirit. I don't know what I'm saying anything. So the spirit of Christ was in Jesus, as Jesus was exercising the dominion of Christ. I said the spirit of Christ was where? Was in Jesus. God didn't give Jesus dominion. He gave Christ dominion. God didn't give Moses dominion. He gave the spirit of the law. God will not give a man dominion. He will incarnate Ancient of Days and give Ancient of Days dominion. A man that wants to enjoy that dominion should